Okay, so today is the LO2, yeah,
Yeah.
of e-commerce applications. That's basically the understand why small businesses use e-commerce, explain the opportunities and benefits e-commerce offers to a small business. Yeah, analyze threats, explain solutions to threats, and evaluate e-commerce strategies. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
benefits and the threats, solutions, and evaluation of the strategies, that how well those strategies work. Yeah. So today's a kind of bit theoretical session, but would try to conclude the titles, yeah, without reading the full slide. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
Now, impact of e-commerce on organization. That's the topic. What is the first impact? That it gives you a global marketplace. Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, the benefit of introducing e-commerce is the business's goods will be available for customers worldwide. This could increase the number of customers as well, because the business will be available worldwide. If the customers are increased, the revenue will be increased as well. The business could expand if more customers buy their products. That's simple. So, global market is the impact. You get a global market. Obviously, you increase the number of customers, and you get a more benefit. Then it's e-com is basically the 24/7 trading. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the supermarket, for example. That's hardly even if it's 24 hours ESDA, then it closes at 4 p.m.,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Closes at 4 p.m. on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally, online things, can be done, without any interruption or any break. Makes sense?
Yeah. I've only just thought about that actually.
Sorry?
It's I've only just thought about it really. It's a bit daft really, isn't it? That the shops close at 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
but yet the internet doesn't stop at 4 o'clock, does it?
Yeah. Even because it says that you don't need any staff to run it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Likely, that if even if it is the ESDA and they claim to run 24/7, literally. Yeah. But at
Yeah.
some point, they said, okay, on Sunday, everybody would go to the bed, early, and nobody would be interested in, shopping. So let us try to, give it a gap.
Yeah.
Okay. So e-com is 24/7 trading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatively low startup and running cost. So that's true. If you want to start, for example, any e-com shop, it's not necessary that you put everything, put lots of items into it. Yeah, you can quickly build a website and put smallest you know number of items, and obviously the running cost would be low, because nowadays it's very cheap to run the e-com sites as compared to the having a normal physical shop, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Then it's fluid pricing. Yeah. So have you got any idea of fluid pricing?
Philip pricing? No, I've never heard of that term before.
Like the word is fluid, like a watery pricing. Like they don't stick same. Like online stores can take an advantage of fluid pricing which is increasing or decreasing prices quickly depending on the circumstances. Is that true and makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Sometimes on certain sites, if a certain item gets more viewings, they put the price up, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a strategy, and if it is within the store, then obviously you will have you won't get chance to change the shelving prices, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so probably over the weekend or maybe midnight, yeah, you might be able to do, and in the meantime, you realize that all the items that you put on the sale and all are, sold. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, like you said that, sometimes the internet prices, can dramatically change. Yeah. And anytime, if they realize that if there is no value, they would reduce further. And if they think that it has a good sale, then obviously they would keep on the moderate sale, not the, let's say 70% off, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely, yeah.
so the e-com business gives you an opportunity to have the fluid pricing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, e-com is used for small and medium enterprises. So e-com is considered to provide substantial benefits to businesses, including small, medium, enterprises, largely by way of improving efficiencies and raising revenue. So overall, yeah, e-com is has an advantage, not from the enterprise but from the in this low level businesses as well. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So it's not the case that for example, if it's a big company, yeah, it has let's say 5, 10, 15, staff, and revenue is maybe more than you know 100,000 pounds a year. But if even if it's a small business and earning is maybe 12,000, and even for example, if someone is the self-employed, they can also get the advantage of e-commerce.
Mm.
Yeah, like if you are selling a small service, for example,
Yeah.
computer installation. Yeah, people can buy it and online, and they can pay you online via PayPal. Yeah, and that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the point to discuss here, that
Yeah, yeah.
small business and medium enterprises, they get the advantages of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And towards a global marketplace, there's also a benefit. E-commerce ensures your business is always open for trade in global market. Yeah. So because of the e-commerce, yeah, you get a global market, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So every time you try to open any business, yeah, so you can consider it that your market is global.
Yeah.
Now threats, identifying e-commerce threats. In simple words, you can say that using internet for unfair means with an intention of stealing, fraud, or security breach. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anything unfair intention, yeah, which is intentionally you try to harm something, yeah, you try to steal, you try to fraud, you try to breach the security. That's basically considered as a threat. Not you, but whosoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not asking you, but whosoever tries this, that's basically the threat.
Yeah. Okay.
So the now most common security threats are phishing attacks, money theft, data misuse, hacking, cards, fraud, unprotected services. Yeah. So phishing. Do you know what's phishing?
Yeah, is that like emails, isn't it?
No.
No, I can't remember what a phishing attack is it now. I'm not entirely sure.
Fishing is basically, they try to catch the fish. Yeah. So how
Uh,
you would notice that you are on the website of PayPal. Yeah. And you would assume that you are using PayPal. You would give your credentials. Yeah. Like username and password. Once you would enter, once that username and password would be submitted to their server, and then they would take you to the actual website.
yeah.
Yeah. And yes, the phishing is diverted or invited most of the time via emails. Yeah, they sent an email, say, oh, your account is blocked. You click on the link below. Yeah. And then that link won't be uh, pointing to the actual, for example, PayPal website, but it would be kind of any unknown website. Yeah. And there would be a subdomain, so that even no, you won't be able to track it.
Yeah.
How this hacking becomes possible, or phishing become possible. Like, if any of the domain is purchased, like for example within the UK, yeah, then the domain ownership has become a kind of legit requirement. Yeah. So that owners should declare their identity, right? However, if you are having, you want to buy the domain.com, then there is no regulatory requirement that the owner must declare their identity. You get it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Then even in order to purchase the website domain, you are not required to prove the identity or any valid authorized payment. Like, I mean,
Okay.
like the domain registrar computing things, they don't require you to produce your ID, and even you can pay them in any ways. Even
Oh.
you can pay them anonymously. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why the phishing happens very easily, and no regulatory body can control this.
Hmm.
Yes. Otherwise, every time you are getting phishing, and if it was totally illegal and traceable, then nobody would have been using their domains and the IP addresses. Make sense?
Yeah, I didn't know that about the domain registration. That's quite interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. And
Yeah.
even for example, whatsoever you are selling, there is a domain privacy as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they charge you 11 pounds a year, and they never declare the contact details of the owner.
Yeah, I've got that on some of the domain names I've got for work.
Yeah.
So nobody can look up the details, because what happens is we get loads of sales calls.
Yeah.
So people find our details and they call the main line and they say, "Can I speak to Pat
Yeah.
Hicks in IT, please?" And then
I know.
they use that to get through to you. So we block all that now.
Yeah. That's not only the reason, but there are many reasons, like,
Yeah, yeah,
you want to be, hidden. Yeah. Due to the reason that nobody should be able to know the ownership, or maybe
yeah.
at the time of any accidental data damage or any loss, could not be made, responsible to the owner of the website. There can be many reasons. Yeah. So, but it varies from country to country. Like specifically, as I told you, that within the UK, you cannot make your domain, private.
Yeah.
Do you know about it?
Sorry, did you say you can't make it?
Like, the what I believe and remember, that you cannot have the domain privacy at all on the .co.uk domain.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll explore this, later on. As I remember, so that happens. So that's why I told you that it depends on the regulatory, country. That whoever regulates, then it happens. Now next, so threats, inaccurate management. One of the main reason of to e-commerce threat is poor management when security is not up to date. Yeah. So if you are not up to date, and then you have a security, threat, and why you have a security threat? Because you have do not have a proper budget for antivirus and other things. You are not taking care of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why you get a threat? Because you are not accurately managing it due to any reason. The main reason is the budget for antiviruses and in order to secure the site. Then price manipulation. The price manipulation is basically modern e-commerce system often face price manipulation problems. So I might be able to ask you the questions, but let me keep on explaining straight away so that we should save the time, because there are lots of slides. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
So the systems are fully automated right from the first visit to the final payment gateway. Stealing is the most common intention of the price manipulation. It allows an intruder to slide or install a lower price into the URL and get away with all data. What happens that, for example, the owner of the website, the e-com, yeah, is totally, sleeping. Yeah. Once you have made the website, then everything becomes, digital. Even you don't need to touch for maybe months. But what do you expect? You expect the website to keep on, running, selling, managing everything, automatically. For example, you can buy the insurance from within a minute. Yeah. And do you think there is any human intervention involved?
No, that doesn't need to be.
Yeah. So what happens? The intruders, like hackers, what they do, they normally, get the payment details, and a small portion, they steal from the actual payment.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you would never know that to whom you paid. For example, the customer wanted to pay, let's say let's say a random figure, for example, 375 pounds. Yeah. Then what would happen? Then 375 pounds and 50 pence, like a 50 pence would be paid to the hacker, and you won't bother about it, would you?
Yeah. No, you wouldn't, no.
You wouldn't. And sometimes the reference they would use, probably the same, like like it would look like that you paid them 50 pence extra, and you would understand that probably the transaction was splitted into two, and the 50 pence were paid later on, maybe due to any automation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So price manipulation is a big threat. You would never know that how the payment is splitted, and a little portion is always being taken, not a big portion. So a little portion makes the hackers in their favor, that like for example, 7 out of 10 customers are the whom they make a fraud would never bother to look at the actual transactions and detailed transactions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Snow house spam. Yeah, that's again a thread. Basically, you must have heard about the email marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. I have,
Most
yeah.
of the time, you get the email marketing and you get a junk mails. Yeah. And basically, when you send an email to someone for marketing purpose and without their, consent, it is basically it is called the unsolicited email. Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand the solicit, like a legit email. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
unsolicited is the illegitimate email, and you can sue someone if they send you an email. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you must have seen at the different farms in different stores. They say, okay, can you give us your email? And they ask you before, oh, you will be receiving our promotion, and at some point, you know you opt that unsubscribe from this email.
Mm.
Have you unsubscribed something sometime?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've unsubscribed, and also I've been asked for my email in a shop before.
yeah,
And I've told them I'm not giving it to them because I don't want junk mail.
yeah. So at some point you need to unsubscribe, but it is our permission to them normally when they send you lots of emails. But what happens uh, when you get an email, yeah, then you can report that particular email. For example, report this spam, yeah,
Mm.
so that the email sender could be further
Mm.
investigated. But now what happens nowadays, if those emails were sent as spam is like the bulk mail, yeah, sent by the email bombardment. Yeah.
Mm.
So one marketing email, if it is being sent, let's say thousands of you know recipients, then normally like a free email providers like a Hotmail and Google, even they won't let you send the emails in bulk unless it is the premium package. With the normal one they won't, neither they will allow you to send, nor their clients will be treated as the legit email. They are supposed to be in the junk mail or spam folder. Yeah, you
Yeah.
understand this?
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
But you must have noticed nowadays that you still get junk mail marketing emails in the inbox still.
Yeah, yeah. I about a year ago, I had a Hotmail account,
Yeah,
and I used to get loads of junk mail on that, and in the end, I closed it down.
yeah.
And I started my Gmail account, which is what I've got now, and it's much better at dealing with spam.
Maybe, but still you get the uninvited or solicit emails in your inbox. Is that right?
I don't get very many. I probably get about 2 a month.
I understand, yeah, but you get at least you can get it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I still get a bit, but on my Hotmail, I was
yeah,
getting 10 or 20 a day.
yeah. So basically, that's called the snowshoe spam. How it is done, it is propagated over several domains and IP addresses to weaken the reputation metrics and avoid filters. So, Snowshoe spam is basically when they try to send an email, they don't use one IP address, they use individual IP addresses. They send, probably one email from one IP address to one recipient. And now you might have heard about the VPN,
Yeah.
virtual private network, and it becomes a kind of an independent, and virtual computer. It would look like that you have received from an individual person. That's why the filters of email servers, they are not able to consider it as spam.
Yeah.
So Snowshoe Spam is basically the weakness nowadays, and the email providers have tried to stop working on it because of the Snowshoe Spam. And the Snowshoe Spam is basically, if you want to do any email marketing, yeah, you will not be sending an email from one computer, but your computer would have multiple IP addresses or VPN virtual networks. They would be sending emails from different uh, theoretically different positions.
Mm.
Yeah, for example, if you have a VPN, what the VPN would do, it would give you a are you clear about the VPN?
Yeah, I understand VPNs. Yeah.
VPN. So, like the email sender software would be using the VPN, and every single email, yeah, after sending an email, it would change the location and IP
Oh.
address, and would send another email and would change the IP address. So probably in a 60 minutes, yeah, maybe 120 emails would have been sent, without being filtered by the email providers. That's basically the Snowshoe Spam idea and technique called.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody asks you that why these nowadays these emails are not filtered, however this is purely a kind of spam. Spam is called like a bulk mail sent for the purpose of marketing, and which is not addressed to you directly, but being planned to be sent to the hundreds and thousands of people. Yeah. And why you are email provider couldn't mark it as spam, because it was sent as Snowshoe Spam. And how did the Snowshoe Spam work? It worked like it was sent from the various IP addresses to individuals.
It's clever stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do these spammers, do they guess people's email addresses as well? Do they like guess what people's email addresses are and then just try and send stuff to them?
What do you mean by the guess?
Well, how does someone get my email address if I don't put it onto any website or anywhere like that? How does somebody find my email address out?
No, they don't guess. At some point, our email addresses are definitely leaked out.
Okay.
Yeah, because that we use internet at different and different places, and what happens that viruses, trojans, and we always, if we are not secure at all. Yeah, our data is being taken from our computers, but what the good thing is that they do not harm at all. Yeah, but they take the relevant information. And even for example, people who sell the email addresses, and they would have definitely access to millions of computers direct into their computers, and they should be able to know. But they obviously they cannot steal the credit card information. I mean, they can steal the credentials, but they cannot use it.
Okay.
So probably even if they have, for example, my credit card is stored on the computer, yeah, then if they are able to read it, okay, but they can't use it, so that's why they will not, take the risk. However, they might, get an email and they know the habits, what I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Snowshoe Spam, then malicious code or threat. So now here we are going to discuss what they mean is. So they are malicious threat codes like virus, worm, and Trojan. Viruses are normally external threats and can corrupt the files on the website if they find their way in the internal network. So virus basically corrupts the file, and it is basically the external threat. External threat is means it is like the viruses, they are not the diseases on their own, but they are caught from somewhere else. Make sense?
Have you ever had a virus?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Yeah.
But uh, not in my computer. Yeah. But I have noticed in other people computer. Sorry, my answer is that I have noticed, I have identified viruses in different computers, but I have never been, uh, that much ignorant on the virus in personal PC ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for example, it used to be the time when you had a flash memory, you used it somewhere, and when you got it and back into your laptop or computer, then you are identified, your USB is identified with the virus. Yeah. And but it's very old time, maybe in 2003 4, and when the antiviruses were not the that much powerful. Even the Windows, yeah, Windows 10 has got filters, yeah, smart screens, they stop you to use the particular file if they are infected.
Yeah. The security on Windows 10 is very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Considering it's
Yeah.
part of Windows now.
Yeah. So like the Windows itself has got a antivirus, for example. Yeah. So worms are very much different and are more serious than the viruses. It places itself directly through the internet. So worms, they can travel directly to the target. Okay. Trojan horse is a programming code which can perform destructive functions. They normally attack your computer when you download something. Yeah. So these are basically the types of worms. Yeah. And viruses and Trojan horse. At this stage, we are not going into the more detail, but you must have heard about the virus and Trojan horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a virus, their purpose is to harm the computer. Yeah. While worms and Trojan horse, they try to steal something.
Yeah.
So maybe next time, in the next slides, if we need it, then we'll go into the detail. But let's go ahead. So the malicious code is a threat. Yeah. So it can be within your computer. It can be on your website as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, risk assessment in e-commerce. So e-commerce business risks include those rising from the identity and nature of relationship with the e-com trading partners. So trading partners is that whosoever you are connected with, maybe computer or anything, yeah, or maybe your computing partner, if they are sending you an email or any data, then their identity and nature of relationship can be a problem. Probably you can catch the virus, from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Integrity of transaction is also a risk, that any transaction, whether they are uh, genuine or not. Electronic processing of transaction is a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, big risk.
Systems reliability, privacy issues, return of goods and product warranties, that's a risk. Taxation and regulatory issues, these are the risks. Normally, when you do e-commerce, you need to be careful about the taxation rules, and returns of the goods is a problem. Privacy issues, your privacy can be compromised. If your system is not reliable, it's an issue. Any of the electronic processing of transaction is an issue. Why it is an issue? You have to do any transaction very carefully. Otherwise, you can get any fraud very easily. And if you are cheated by any because of any fraud, then your whole company can be devastated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the basically risks. Yeah. Now, how to deal with the internet threats? You educate and train your staff on e-commerce risk. Find the right payment processor so that you should not be at the risk. For example, PayPal is the right payment processor. If you are using Skrill or any of other payment processor, they might not be good enough, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Create essential website content. Focus on risk reduction. Develop internal fraud prevention structure. Yeah. So the internal fraud prevention structure may be, for example, if somebody paid you via PayPal, yeah, then you should be able to know if the payment has been made from particular PayPal, and the item you are going to ship, if it is the digital, then you need to validate that whether the purchase being made is it legit and the actual person is doing or any hacker is doing. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes what happen, people steal the PayPal.
Yeah.
And do you know what they purchase? They basically purchase the gift cards. Yeah. PlayStation cards. And what they do, they buy it, and they even they don't use it, and they further sell to anybody else. And via this cycle, the one who stole is who has stolen any particular money, they won't be using, and the third party is using.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happens. So internal fraud prevention structure should be strong enough. Use fraud prevention tools. So for example, use prevention tools. For example, if you have a website and you are getting a payment from a credit card, and you should be able to know that from where the credit card payment is being made. If it is done from any other country, then your system should be smart enough to detect the geographical location of the person who is placing an order. And the most of the countries and the places should have been marked vulnerable, and your tool should be able to prevent the fraud. Yeah. Normally what happens, if you have a new company, for example, if you are getting the payments, then if your system is not secure enough, you don't have any prevention structure, then you would face lots of problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build a fraud screening process. Yeah. So most of the time, some of the websites, for example, when you pay like any fees to the government website, yeah, you most likely nobody would use or pay any fraudulent payment to the government, because whosoever is getting any service from the government, yeah, they cannot do any cannot pay. For example, if I want to pay the road tax from the stolen credit card, yeah, then at
Yeah.
the end, I would face, the uh, any penalty and prosecution, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I could be jailed. However, maybe government website does not have any more screening. However, if I am an individual seller and I am selling, the digital services, yeah, and if somebody used another's credit card and they try to buy something, if I don't have the screening process, yeah, then at the end, I would be responsible that I charge the credit card, yeah, and I will have to pay back,
Mm.
yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's not. I
Yeah,
my credit card details were cloned quite a long time ago,
yeah,
and used for online fraud. So yeah, it's not very nice.
yeah. So protect your merchant account from intrusion. Yeah. So
Yeah.
your merchant account could be compromised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here the process of routing your authorization. Like routing your authorization is basically uh, once you got the payment, it needs to be processed from the another department, yeah, and the payment and the card details might go to somewhere else. So overall routing should have been, a kind of should have been secure authorization, yeah.
Yeah.
Establish a process of handling transactions and post authorization, yeah.
Yeah.
So you authorized it, and you handling and post authorization, you should have some more checks. Ensure PCI peripheral component interface compliance, like the devices you use for the payments and interchanging, exchanging the information should be compatible enough. Minimize unnecessary chargebacks. Unnecessary chargebacks like a disputed transaction. For example, somebody said, somebody paid to you via PayPal and you shipped the item, and after some time, the PayPal created a dispute that this purchase was made, from an unauthorized access, yeah. Then
Mm.
what happened, the owner of the PayPal will get, the money from the PayPal, or they would make a dispute. Yeah, so try to avoid this kind of chargebacks. Yeah,
Mm.
monitor the chargebacks. Then why chargebacks are happening? Probably your customer details are being hacked.
Yeah.
That's why you are getting, or there could be any reasons that chargeback is basically the disputed transactions. For example, in your electronic e-com shop, you are selling only and only digital services, yeah,
Yeah.
and people are buying from the fake accounts. It means what would happen, your PayPal account would be subject to the chargebacks. That okay, like you are receiving, let's say 5 out of 10 transactions as a disputed one, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, then your PayPal won't allow you to have a business. They would, they would think that your website is not worth enough to be allowed for the business, and even your PayPal would be limited. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, there's if you're
Yeah,
a business, and yeah, there's quite a lot of rules, isn't there? And
yeah,
they'll stop you if there's any dodgy stuff going on.
yeah. Infrastructure. Now, next, infrastructure practices, techniques, rules for dealing with the e-commerce threats. So how you would be dealing with these threats? Extend security vigilance beyond the traditional enterprise perimeter. Yeah. So you don't think that you are dealing within an organization or within your equipment, but think beyond your equipment in order to make it secure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And So this means that it's not only that you think within the premises of your hardware and the equipment, but think outside it, the perimeter of the beyond the traditional enterprise perimeter. So then you would be able to see the how secure you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cope with the increasingly complex compliance requirement. Yeah. So with the explosion of the social media, employees are communicating directly with the outside world and are often completely bypassing internal reviews. What happens basically is also a threat that what the reputation you have, yeah, you can be, you know, targeted with a fake reputation created by someone else for you. Make sense?
Yeah.
What happens basically that protecting their business's reputation, brand, and revenue. So cope with increasingly complex compliance requirements. Yeah. So you monitor it. With the
Yeah.
explosion of the social media, employees are communicating directly with the outside world and are often completely bypassing internal reviews. Monitoring and managing these numerous social media channels for compliance and governance is a major headache, but it's essential task for executives charged with protecting their business reputation, brands, and revenue. Yeah. So internal reviews, yeah, internally and beyond the being complied with the external you know uh, media. Yeah. So cope with them. Okay. So let me go to next. Yeah. Bit theoretical. Ensure protection while keeping cost contained. Yeah. Brand damaging and reputation transitioning events. What happens? Uh, you know, somebody create a fake news that iPhone 7 has, is stealing your data, for example. What people did that they created a fake news that it was published on the BBC. Yeah. And they did some edit and they spread it and lots of what would happen that quickly, for example, if you know uh, 1,000 mobiles were supposed to be sold, yeah, on the launch of the night, then probably if you were among them, for example, then probably 500 sale was declined. People change their mind. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So executives know they must get ahead of any vulnerabilities with a strategy that is both comprehensive and cost effective. So these ensure protection while keeping cost contained. So anyone can damage your brand.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you should have some strategy. Here we are going to discuss the practices and techniques to deal with threats. Can you imagine that somebody can intentionally damage the reputation of your product?
Yeah.
Intentionally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is possible they can spread any fake news about the reviews and other things. So we are discussing these things. Yeah.
Yeah. I fully get this. Yeah.
Build an alliance with the chief marketing officer and chief security officer. Yeah. So the chief security officer of the company and chief marketing officer, they should work together in order to face any problem of security and information security. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, like the chief marketing officer and chief security officer of the company, they are the roles. They are responsible for these kind of problems. It shouldn't be the case that nobody is responsible for security or marketing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So marketing doesn't mean that they have to market, but they should be able to look at the market as well, that what's going on into the market. Yeah. If there is a fake news, that they are supposed to defend it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard though, isn't it, to defend it if there's lots of different sources.
No. For example, if you know that somebody has spread the fake news, then quickly you should be alert, your marketing and the security officer, then they should, quickly issue any press release on their website and on the media that the news being spread is fake.
Yeah, sometimes it's too late though, isn't it?
Okay, if it is late, for example, but still, if you have got any relevant department, then you can save it from the big damage.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
if it's not true, they'll come up with a good answer, and it'll be a professional way of doing it, won't it?
Yeah, definitely, and you can recover that damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to stay a bit longer tonight?
Do you think we could stop now? Yeah, that would be, if we can continue next time, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, and let me see, what else is left. 1 second. Okay, so we were yes, we are on the 17th slide now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll resume from the slide number 17 in the next lecture. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, and I see you next. Monday definitely, and probably if you will be available, then let me know so that we can have class earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. See you soon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.